Good morning, JT in the Raw, show 46, show 46, coming to you live from Manchester. I'm in a place called Cheadle, which is just out of Manchester in the UK. Morning PK, morning Chantal. And it is a little bit nippy, it's a little bit cool here, just a wee nippy, but not too bad. It's okay, we can cope with the weather. So today I spoke at Paul Bedford's conference, which is called the Retention Conference, and it's like the number one conference on the planet where the focus is purely about retention. I was one of 5 speakers, and it was pretty awesome. It was a great opportunity. I only had an hour on stage, which for anybody you know me knows that I'd prefer an hour and a half, but no, I got an hour, and it was pretty cool. I got to talk, as I said to you guys last week in show 45, I was going to be talking about the preparation that we do inside the locker room before we go out on the field to play the game. So I use as a metaphor preparing for a sporting game in the locker room and what sort of things we needed to do, and I called it the 7 C's. So it was a pretty good presentation. I'm going to put together an ebook after that presentation. It went really well, got some awesome feedback, so I'm very grateful for Paul for giving me the opportunity to speak. Hi Christy, hi Sarah, how are you guys? What I thought I'd do today is just give you a bit of a review of some gyms that I've been to while I've been here in the UK. So I got in on Monday, and the first gym that I went to was a cycle studio called Boom Cycle. I believe they got 4 locations in London, and I went to the Holborn location, which is only 3 months old. I was in this, you go in at street level and then you go down, and I was in this bottom, it's like in a basement, and they have 2 studios, and the studio that I was in had hi Leanne, hi Jackie Hobbs all the way from London, how you going? Leanne from New Zealand. So you go down, and I was in this tiny room, and I was trying to measure it. I think it would have been about 7 6s, 42, about 45 square meters. Hi Rebecca, and in that 45 square meters there were 20 bikes. The class itself was okay. The instructor, she was full of energy, she was full of vitality, and was bopping along with the music. And so, look, I can't judge, and I would never judge a spin instructor and say whether a spin instructor is any good or any bad. I can't do that. That's not my gig. But what I can tell you is that when I went to the front desk, I didn't get this warm feeling. It just felt like it was a bit amateur hour. And so for me, that started to feel what was happening. The instructor, in fact, was there early. She was hanging around the front desk, didn't connect. They knew that I was doing the class. They knew it was my first time, but she didn't say hello. There was no connection beforehand. And I think that really set the tone for me in regard to the class. So it really didn't matter how good that instructor was going to be. I was just kind of going, well, if this is the front desk and that's the instructor, then gosh, why wouldn't they connect with me? So yeah, look, that was an interesting experience. Hi Susan. That afternoon I then headed off to Barry's Bootcamp. Now there are 3, well, as of yesterday there were 2 Barry's Bootcamps. Today there are 3 Barry's Bootcamps in London. I'd been to one of the Barry's 3-4 years ago, and so this one I went to a different one this time. And again, I went to the front desk, and unlike the Barry's experiences that I'd had in the US, the front desk team, they just weren't on the ball. They just weren't cluey. They just weren't there. They weren't present. And, you know, we talk about in Jeb Blunt's book, People Buy You, he talks about likability. And in likability, one of the keys is that we have to be present. We have to be present. People have to be looking at us. We have to know that they're there. I walked to the front desk, and I didn't think the girls on the front desk were present at all. And that really bugged me a bit, guy and the girl. It's funny, you know, when you go into one of these places, it's very obvious that it's the first time I've been to them. And I kind of expect that the person on the front desk would actually go out of their way as a brand new person to show me through a bit. And we'd experienced that, Chantel and I had experienced that when we were at Barry's Bootcamp in the US at Venice Beach, but it didn't really click for me here. So I was pretty disappointed in that. G'day, Shano. And then I went downstairs and I was early, so I went into the studio. The doors were open. I went into the studio and started stretching. Then the instructor came in and said, I need to get the room ready. Would you mind leaving? I'm like, what? How am I interrupting? It was really disjointed. But the other thing about the instructor, who was a Gillian Michaels lookalike, she was upstairs in the foyer where I was waiting for the class. And again, she didn't come over and introduce herself, but she would have heard everything that was going on. So I just think, I don't know, maybe I'm being harsh, but I'm being a critic. But what I think, Shane Casey, how you going? What I've been feeling is that it's just not sharp. It's not polished, the experience that I'm getting at the front desk. And that's setting the impact and the result that I think I'm going to get from the workout. Now, that could be unfair, and therefore I'm judging the workout unfairly. But it's that feeling that I get when I walk in. I'm just not getting that buzz. Briggers, how are you, mate? Yeah, first impressions count, and I'm not getting that when I walk in. So I was pretty disappointed in both those experiences. The workouts themselves, they were fine. But I kind of think, with these boutique studios, if you're only got spinning, that's the only hook to keep people in, then you've got to be creating an experience in order to keep people. Then where did I go? Then the next morning I went to Psycle, which is Psycle. And morning, Matty Wright, how you going? And Psycle, I got to admit, is an absolute rip-off of Soul Cycle. It is a dead set rip-off. It just blew me away how similar it was. The lady next to me had a Soul Cycle shirt on, and I heard her saying to the guys on the front desk when she was leaving, she goes, oh, this is just like Soul Cycle in Washington. I'm like, yes, it is. I can't judge the instructor, so I'm not going to judge the instructor. But she came over to me and she said, is this your first time in the class? I said, yes. She said, that's good, and walked off. And I went, okay. Like, don't worry about helping me set up on my bike. Don't worry about trying to make me feel good. Don't feel comfortable. Didn't come up to me afterwards. I was like, really? Really? What would happen if I wasn't brand new? No extra, no change in service. So that was okay. The design of Psycle I was really impressed with. It was really clean. It was really crisp. Very, very easy layout. Minimalistic, but very clever. Front desk experience when I walked in was average. Girl was on the front desk talking on the phone. I came up. She didn't even acknowledge I was there. Got a guy over from the fruit bar, the smoothie bar. He came over. Again, so this is my third boutique studio in 24 hours, and still I'm yet to experience anything like the service level that I experienced in boutiques in the US. And even in Australia, the boutiques. So I'm coming back to this fact. If the only thing you've got is your exercise, then you've got to create an experience. You have to create an experience. And that starts with your front desk team. It really is an incredibly powerful experience, and to set that foundation when you walk in. Then that afternoon I went out to the burbs of London, went to a place called Transition Zone. If you're in Sydney, this would be like travelling out to Carlingford or out to Pennant Hills. It was a fair way out of town, and it was just a suburb gym, and it was pretty good. The owner of the business actually took a TRX class, made me feel very welcome. We had a good chat. I didn't really like her because she told me she was in Australia at Christmas and really didn't like Australia, so I was a bit offended by that. No, I was okay. She was pretty cool about that. But she was really lovely, made me feel very welcome, showed me around the club, showed me where everything was, showed how everything operated, and that created the experience. Was she a great instructor? I don't think so. But the experience that she created, being the owner of the business, made me feel warm, made me feel fuzzy, and it was good. So I give that a tick. If you've watched my Facebook feed, you'll know that on Wednesday morning, I zipped off to, Fiona, where am I? I'm in Cheadle, just outside Manchester. You know, where you did your nursing course, I'm in Cheadle. And for those that don't know Cheadle, it kind of feels like, just out here, it kind of feels like Corsten from Midsummer Murders. Okay, so back to Wednesday. So I went to Ministry Does Fitness. So this is a Ministry of Sound fitness studio. So you can imagine the music was pretty epic. The lighting was sensational. And the music itself, the sound system was really powerful. The coach was okay. I wouldn't rate him as a magnificent... Cheadle's where all the wags live. I didn't know that, Fiona. I'll have to go out on the town now that it's 11:15 at night and try and find a couple of them. I don't know why I would, but just maybe get their autographs. Okay. So the music was awesome. Going back to my experience when I walked in, the club manager was there, and so he engaged with me. We had a great conversation about the history of Ministry Does Fitness. He explained the facility. He told me that the smoothie bar wasn't working, but if I was happy for him to try and make me something, then I'd be happy, and he wouldn't charge me. It was really good. It was a really great experience. Would I go back? Of the 4 or 5 that I went to, I think I would probably do Ministry Does Fitness. Yes, I'd go back. I'd probably do Psycle, but that would be it. I wouldn't jump anywhere else. And then today in Manchester, I went to a big box gym called Bannatyne's, I think. There's a chain. They're a chain over here. There's quite a number of them, certainly here in Manchester. And I had to pay £15 for a casual workout, which I didn't have a problem with, but I couldn't pay cash. I had to pay by credit card. I had to put all my details on the computer, and the computer didn't really work. And it took me 12 minutes, because I timed it. It took me 12 minutes to be able to get into the club, and I was in the club for like 40 minutes. So what's that? 30% of the time that I was away in this club was spent filling in forms and not working out. I found that really frustrating, to the point where I almost said, look, don't worry, I'm not going to come back. I'm not going to have the workout, I'll just go for a run. So it's been a really interesting experience. I'm pretty pumped up because on Saturday I'm going to the 3rd Barry's that's opening in London. It only opens tomorrow, Friday, and I'm going to go there Saturday morning, so I've got to work out. So I'm going to be really interested to see how that compares to when Chantel and I went to Barry's in Venice, because that was a brand new one as well. So I want to be able to compare these brand new ones. And I think this is one of the challenges that we face when we have multiple clubs, is being able to duplicate the service, duplicate the experience. Across continents is obviously very challenging, but it'll be interesting to see. So I'm pumped up to check that out. All in all, it's been a really interesting trip. I would have to say that the UK, from a programming perspective, is on par, I think, with the US, which is on par with Australia. I think from a boutique, from a cycling perspective, I think programming, it's the same. I don't know whether they're conservative over here as POMs, but I do think what is really important is just this experience that we get when we walk in. And make it magical. It's a challenge when you've only got one thing. As I keep saying, you've only got one thing. You've only got spinning, or you've only got circuit. Then you've got to create an unbelievable total experience. It's just not the workout. Morning, Alan, or good evening, Alan Leach. How are you? Matty Wright says hello to you. You guys can have a little conversation in the feed down there. I head home on Saturday night, so I'll be back in Australia all next week. So I'm looking forward to that, getting back down under and working on some pretty cool things. What else? I think that's about all. I think that's all. I've got to do a presentation tomorrow, so I'm doing Doug's presentation here, the virtual roadshow. So I'm going to be punching out a session for him, and that's being beamed across the world. So I'm super excited about that because I've never done anything like that before. So that's going to be really exciting. I think there's a couple of thousand people that are tuning into that live. So that's really, really cool. Okay, that's it that's the show for this week. Show 46, that's done. I'll be back in Australia next week. Looking forward to catching up. So before I finish, I got a quote of the week. And the quote of the week is not going to surprise you based on what I've said. And that is this: your front desk team is the lifeblood to the success of your business. Your front desk team is the lifeblood to the success of your business. That's my quote of the week. I want you to go away and think about what you can do with your lifeblood, with that front desk team, and get them working, get them sharp, get them creating experiences for everybody that walks in, everybody. Your front desk team is the lifeblood of the success of your club. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody, to JT in the Raw, show 46. I'll catch you on the flip side. See, can people still register for Doug's event? I think so, Chantel. I think they can. I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Chris, thanks for tuning in. Dave, thanks for tuning in. Maddie Fletcher, appreciate all your support. Please share it if you think anybody could get value out of learning about my experiences here from the clubs that I've been to in London. I'll catch you on the flip side. See you guys.